Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a video to show you how to change the loudspeaker in the iPhone 6s. So the first thing you want to do is power off your iPhone. Next, what we need to do is use a pentalobe screwdriver size 0, and we're going to need to remove these two screws in the bottom of the phone right here. So go ahead and remove those screws. Next, what you will need is a suction cup like this. So first of all, you want to do is push down on the screen right here. You want to stay just above the home button. If you go over the home button, it won't suction very well. So what we need to do is stick it down there, and then we need to pry up gently. Just pull up a little bit. And as you can see right above the headphone jack here, there's a little notch in the screen. If you can get in there with something, I'm just going to use a little pry tool like this. And you can just kind of slip in under there. At the same time, you're keeping tension on here with your finger. This particular phone has been apart before, I can tell, so it doesn't have much adhesive on here, because the iPhone 6s has adhesive strips on the inside right here, so it might come apart a little harder than what mine's showing. So you just want to keep working it along the edges. Don't go in very far. If you use a pry tool like this, just use it a little bit at a time. And then you can see this is starting to separate. So let's go ahead and remove our suction tool right now. Now we're ready to gently lift this up. All the way, don't lift it past the 90 degrees. If you do more than a 90 degrees, you can end up tearing these cables up here, and we don't want to do that. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to use a Phillips screwdriver size 000, and we're going to need to remove these 4 screws in this plate right here. So go ahead and remove those. Now that you've removed those screws, make sure you put them in the right order so you know how they go back together, because some of them are different sizes. Just pull this plate off of here, set it with your screws. Now next we're going to disconnect these connectors right here. We're going to do them in order, whichever one's on top. So the one that's furthest towards the bottom here, going to slip in here. I would recommend use something plastic or your fingernail or something. Don't use anything metal for this, because it could damage the connectors. So just go ahead and remove all 3 of those. They're kind of stacked in order like that, so you can see. And now that that's loose, you're free to take the screen off just like that, all the way. If this video was helpful to you so far, I would appreciate if you would give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That would help me out a lot. I'll include links in the video description below the video for any tools that I'm going to be using on this repair today, or any parts that I'm going to be replacing. Anything that I think might be helpful to you, I'll include a link in the video description below the video, so check it out there. So the first thing we want to do is remove this cover for the battery connector right here. So use the Phillips screwdriver and remove these 2 screws right here in this cover. Now that you've removed those screws, make sure to set them off to the side in the right order so you know how they go back, and then remove this cover right here and set it with your screws. Next, we're going to disconnect the battery connector right here. We're going to use something plastic or a fingernail or something that's not metallic, because we don't want any sparks. So we'll go ahead and disconnect that battery connector and get it out of the way. Next, we'll want to remove this connector right here by prying up on it. So we can just sneak under there and pry that up. Next, what you need to do is use a Phillips screwdriver and remove these 5 screws right in here. There's one underneath this part right here, so we're going to need to peel this up a little bit carefully to expose that screw right there. So go ahead and remove those 5 screws. So now that you got those screws out, next we need to loosen this part right here. It's stuck down with adhesive on top of this, and this has already been off before, I can tell, because this one's torn. We don't want it to tear. It all is a part of this piece right here. If you use something really thin to pry underneath it, or this, like this tweezers or something, then you can carefully peel this up. Then this would stay with this part here. It would peel up as one piece. I wanted to show you that. Next, you want to get in here and carefully pry up on this, and then you want to make sure that this antenna wire lets loose. And then the whole loudspeaker comes out just like that. Next, we'll grab our loudspeaker, set it down in here. Make sure to put it in the holder right here for the antenna wires on it. Then you can just push it down in there. You want to go ahead and put these 3 screws back in. Next, we want to refasten this wire here. I'm going to set it down in there where it goes. And as you remember, mine came apart in 2 pieces because it was broken already. So we're going to act like this is all one piece like it's supposed to be. So you would stick it back down on the loudspeaker here, and then you would put your 2 screws back in. Then next, you would go ahead and reconnect this connector down in here. Press that down and reconnect the battery connector. Press that down, grab your cover, set it down on top of there, and go ahead and put your 2 screws back in. Now to reassemble the LCD screen, let's grab it and tip it up here at a 90 degrees. Now you can see we have 3 different connectors here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the one that's on the bottom, snap it in right here where it goes. Now these should be able to just press in with a soft click. You should be able to feel them and hear them. So do the second one, then do the third one. Now before we put all our plates back on, we're going to test this phone by powering it on. You can see it's powering on okay. So you can see your touchscreen works, so you can go ahead and get out of that. Turn it back off. Now that we turned it back off, go ahead and get your screen back up at 90 degrees. Grab our little plate in here, set it on here, and then go ahead and put those 4 screws back in. So now that you got the 4 screws in this plate right here, what you can do is gently set your screen down. Then what we're going to do, I'm going to try to show you, is we need to get these tabs in up here first. Tip the screen up like this carefully, and we need to get the front started first, like that. And then we can start just pushing this down all the way. Make sure it's good all the way down. Then go ahead and put your 2 bottom screws back in. Now that you got your bottom screws back in, go ahead and power on your device. And again, make sure everything's working and you're all set. Thanks for watching.